Okay, so we got Pokemon rivals, and we're gonna rate them. Now, this tier list that I have here, it includes, like, the ones from Sword and Shield, but I know that game is relatively new, and I know even I have some friends, like, personally, who haven't gotten around to it yet, but still plan to. So, for their sake and for everyone's sake at home who hasn't played that game, I'm gonna rate them at the very end, and I'll put a timestamp just to, like, show what, like, when I'm done with that. Because if you still want to see the whole tier list after that and see where they placed, even not knowing a lot about them, you'll still get that opportunity. But I'm going to talk about spoiler shit because I really, like, a character's arc in a, like, the Rivals arc is really important to why I like them or why I dislike them. So I guess I could say spoilers for every Pokemon game, including like Sword and Shield. But in that case, let's get started. The person who made this tier list, they forgot Calum. But that's okay because, I mean, I forgot Calum too. So, but I mean, they're basically the same character as Serena. So we're just gonna get to it. And we're only gonna rate them like based on how they are in the games, not how they are like in the anime. Because like we have May on here and stuff, and like May's cool in the anime, but in the game she's kind of stinky. Wait, do we have May on here? What? Did they just? Okay, I guess May's not on here either, but I guess Brent. Wait, what? Hold on, do we have everyone on this tier list? I guess they forgot May as well, but we got Wally. Huh. Okay, whatever. That's fine, because Brendan and May are basically the same character anyways, and the same thing with Caleb and Serena, so I guess we'll just roll with it. But let's just start in order. Let's, where is he? Oh, here's the main man himself. We got Blue. Now, Blue, everyone loves Blue, because he's a piece of goddamn shit. But, you know, like, people say that he's one of, like, the meaner rivals, and he is, but he's not like a complete douche nozzle like he is in the anime. He does help you, and he does see you as like an actual threat to his like journey. He sees you as like pretty much one of the only things getting in the way of him becoming the very best. That being said, his arc throughout like Pokemon Red through like Pokemon Gold, it's very believable. He becomes champion, and the second he gets his ass kicked by Red, he becomes the gym leader of Viridian City. So for that, I'm gonna say Blue as a rival. You know what? Blue, good rival. You're going an A. Now for Silver, again, he is probably the first. Like, people consider him a jerk rival, but I consider there are three types of rivals for me. There are the friendly rivals, there's the jerk rivals, and then there's the edgy rivals. And, you know, we've gotten a couple of edgy ones lately, but I consider Silver kind of on the border of being a jerk rival and an edgy rival, because, like, he's just a criminal, and honestly, like, outside of Heart Gold and Soul Silver, like, in learning that I don't know, do they tell him, in Gold and Silver, do we learn that he's Giovanni's son? I can't remember, but him being Giovanni's son is a really cool thing about him. And, yeah, you know, he's one of the classics, one of the classic rivals, so we're gonna put him in B tier, because I don't consider him as, like, memorable as Blue, but he is a good rival. Don't get me wrong. God, my tier list is trash already. I'm getting dislikes up the ass. That being said, we're just going to go ahead and stick Brendan. Brendan and May are... People love these rivals, but I think as of late, people are starting to realize that they're kind of bad, at least in, like, their original games. They don't even get, like... I don't think they get a full team. They get, like, 4 Pokemon, I think. I don't think their team's fully evolved. Now, in the remakes, which is what this artwork's from, Brendan and May, they have a very similar thing going on, but for some reason Gen 6 love to do those little post-game battles, like once you get through the credits and it's like, okay, now the real battle. They did it with AZ and then they did it with these guys. But even then, I don't think that's enough to really save them as a rival. They're the first friendly rival, and they're not the worst. Believe me, they're not the worst. But they're going in C. But Wally's cool. Okay, so Wally is in the originals, Wally's kind of forgettable. Because you catch him as Ralts, then you fight him like once, and then you just fight him again. And, you know, his team is... It's decent, but, like, he doesn't really leave an impact on you. I think most people don't even remember that you fight him, like, in front of Maulville. But then the remakes happens, and I know a lot of people like to shit on ORAS, because ORAS has a lot of changes to these original games that, like, I guess, give it a lot of that casual Pokemon Gen 6 was going for. Just, they give you a free legendary, there's megas, and there's no battle frontier, there's just the battle resort. But Wally is one of the better changes in this, because Wally gets a Mega Gallade. And he has some of the most badass, like, battle music in the entire franchise. But again, you only battle him twice? So, like, does that even count him as a rival? I mean, kind of, because, like, when we get to, like, Gladion, you only really fight him 3 times. But he's considered a rival. But, yeah, I'm gonna say, Wally, you're going in B. No, Okay. This is hard. Because Wally's a lot more memorable than these guys. But he's not that, you know, you're going in, you're a high C, Wally. You are a high C. You are a little thing of fruit punch. You're a high C. And now we're moving on to Gen 4. So, Barry, one of my personal favorite rivals. He's a friend rival, but he's also kind of an ass. He's very impatient. He's kind of the perfect balance, I think, between being a friend rival, but also being a legitimate, like, force. He's also kind of the first rival that has, like, a goal outside of just being the best, because Barry's dad is one of the Frontier Brains, and you don't really learn about that until you actually get to post-game, but you can tell, like, that he looks up to him, and I really respect that about Barry. And his theme is, very good. He's probably one of the best things about Gen 4, and for that I'm going to put him in A tier, because I love Barry. Now, what do we got next? Okay, we're getting to, that's Gen 5. Okay, Gen 5 it is. So, Gen 5, we got Bianca and Sharon, and of course N, and then we got Hugh in Black and White 2. So, let's start with Bianca. Now, Bianca, she's a good character. She's a good character, but she's definitely not, like, a rival. She just happens to have the same battle music as Sharon. Sure, like, she is the more friendly rival, she's the more lax rival, but she's not really, like, she doesn't really challenge you. But I still like her as a character, so I'm going to throw her in B for Bianca. Now, Sharon, I do like Sharon, but he's just kind of like this, like, he's not a jerk rival. He's definitely a friend rival, but he's also kind of like this kind of know-it-all. It's kind of just kind of a he's not a prick, but he's like, you do kind of feel good kicking his ass, because he's just like, he's kind of whiny. So I'm going to put him above Bianca, but he's still going to be in B. You're still below Silver. Now N's something special, because he's the first real rival that we had that was from an evil team. And he was kind of the champion. He beat the champion before you even got there. You had an awesome battle with him, with the legendaries, and he's one of the most memorable Pokemon characters of all time. It's also really cool because his team changes, like, every time you battle him because he releases the Pokemon that he catches in the route, and it's always from that route that you're on. So like if you fight him in Chargestone Cave, he's gonna have Pokemon from Chargestone Cave. So I'm gonna put him above Blue. He is one of... I'm gonna try to put him above Blue. There we go. Okay, he is one of the best rivals that the series has ever had. And I don't even consider him, like, he's not a jerk, he's not a friendly rival, and he's not an edgy rival. He's something that we really haven't seen, like, since him. And that's just, like, a rival who's just on the bad team. Now, I know Gladion was technically on Team Skull, but, like, no, he wasn't. So, next up is Hugh. Hugh is, Hugh had a lot of potential. He has, like, this... He's definitely what I consider an edgy rival. He's got that whole Shadow the Hedgehog looking motherfucker going on. But his arc is stupid. The way he is written is stupid, and it could have been so much better if they just, like, changed one tiny little aspect of his character. Because, like, his whole arc is that his sister's purloin... His sister, who is a faceless NPC that you see once in the game... Like, he's pissed at Team Plasma because they stole his sister's purloin. Now, his sister's purloin apparently did belong to his deceased grandfather, and I could see that. But why was it his sister's purloin? Why wasn't it his? Like, if Hugh was just this... He just... Like, he has a death wish on Team Plasma, but, like... It's not even his Pokemon. It's his sister's. If it was just his Pokemon, like, he'd be such a more compelling character, but I don't buy it. I feel like... Did something get lost in translation? Did they consider that to be, like, too edgy or something? I don't know. It just... Hugh has probably one of the best rival themes of all time. But he also is probably one of the worst written characters in all of Pokemon. So you're going above the Gen 3s. But you're the bottom of the Gen 5s. So I don't know how that... I'm sure I upset some Hugh fans. Okay, here we go. Gen 6. Serena and Calum. Serena and Calum. I don't remember you. I think, like, you had something to do with Mega Evolution, and you were like, come on. The only time I actually remember what they did in the story is when you fought them for the Mega Ring, and they were like, shit, now I can't Mega Evolve. But then I think they do. They eventually do get a Mega. So, like, their entire... They don't have a character arc. And if they do, like, that's the thing about X and Y's story. It's so, like, the characters aren't memorable. The story is, like, it's memorable. It's not well written, but it's memorable. And Serena, you're probably the best rival from that gen. But you're still kind of garbage, and the same goes for Calum, and I'm sure there's some difference between them, but fuck, I don't know. I don't remember anything that, like, sets them apart from each other. Now, and that's just sad, because these three are also terrible, but I remember them. They have distinct characteristics. Serena is just the girl, and Calum is just the boy. They're just, I guess, like, I think, like, their parents used to be good trainers or something, but you don't know. Like, it's never, like, established. It's never, like, it's never really, like, talked about again. They're just the more serious rival. Now, Shauna. I like Shauna. I don't love Shauna. She's still a Gen 6 rival, so she's going in D tier, but she's better than Serena. You have a nice little moment with her at the Parfum Palace, which is, like, the worst area in all of Pokemon, but I remember her. She's a friend rival. She's kind of happy-go-lucky. She doesn't really have, like, a major character arc. Like, she just kind of tags along, which is kind of how I feel about all the Gen 6 rivals. But I like her better than Serena and Calum. So I'm gonna put her above Serena. Now Tierno, I like Tierno. I do like Tierno. He's just a fun-loving guy. He's just a fun-loving guy. He loves dancing, and that's his whole thing. And I'm okay with that. You know, you can dance, you can jive, having the time of your life. Tierno, you're a dancing queen, and you're going in C tier. Trevor, fuck Trevor. Going D tier. This guy is the worst. Spoiler alert, Trevor's the worst rival in all of Pokemon. Like, his whole thing is, oh, I'm gonna beat you in the Pokedex. I'm gonna, like, catch more Pokemon than you. That's how my rivalry's going. But, he sucks at that. You don't even have to, like, catch that many Pokemon, and he'll be like, okay, time for a Pokedex check, and he's like, oh, man, you're beating me? And it's like, man, I'm doing a Nuzlocke. You're gonna only catch one per route, and you're still beating... But, so yeah, Trevor, garbage. Worst of the Gen 6 rivals. Tierno, best of the Gen 6 rivals. And now we get to Gen 7. And I'm just gonna move him over here because Trace, or yeah, your name's Trace. We'll get to you later. How was two characters? How was two characters? Because Sun and Moon How? It's kind of a lackluster rival. He doesn't really do anything. He doesn't really have an arc. He just kind of battles because it's fun. And that's okay. We've had that before. But, like, and to be fair, he is a lot more enjoyable than any of these, like, clowns. But he just kind of follows you around. He's doing his Island Challenge too. And then I guess he can never beat his... No, he did beat him. I think he did beat his grandfather. But he never really... You just battle him at the Elite Four right before, and then you just... That's the end. That's the end of his journey. And that's a typical rival thing, because, like, Barry does that. A lot of them do that. But, you know, just... That being said, Ultra Sun and Moon How is a good character, which is a shame, because the rest of that game suffered because of it. Not because of it, but, like, the story of that game takes a major, like, nosedive from the story of Sun and Moon. Like, it feels like a weird, like, a bridge series. But How's character must have, like, leached off of that and just, like... Because he's the best damn character in Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. Like, he's your champion fight. And that's, like, really, really cool. He actually does... After, like, losing to, after Lily gets kidnapped at the Aether Paradise, he's like, no, I need to get stronger. And he gets stronger. He like, is ahead of you in the challenge. Not the gym challenge, that's these guys. But in the island trials. And he's one step ahead of you the entire time. He's doing all the trials before you. And then you get to the Pokemon League, and it's like, okay, time to fight. And his champion fight is... It's alright, it's not like the best, but him as a character in that game is a lot better than he was in Sun and Moon, and for that, I'm going to put him... Yeah, I'm going to put you between Blue and Barry. Okay, yeah. Now, Gladion. So Gladion is... Okay, so when Sun and Moon first came out, I freaking loved Gladion. I was like, finally the jerk rival. Now I realize he's not really a jerk rival. He's more of an edgy rival, because he's not really just like... He doesn't want to be better than you. He just kind of shows up and is like, let's battle. And I'm going to get a lot of flack for this, but I think he's a worse rival than Hal in that regards. In both games, honestly. You fight him 3 times. He might be a better character than Hal, but as a rival, he's not as good. So for that, I'm going to put him in B. I'm going to put him in B, right above Silver, because... Yeah, no, I agree with that. I think he's a better rival than Silver. In the terms of, he just has a better team and just a better story around him. Because, you know, if you've played Sun and Moon, you know that losing means fucking cray-cray. And he joins Team Skull for some reason. But yeah, I think I'm content with that. And then Let's Go happens, and this kid existed. People hate him. People really, really hate Trace. And I can see why, because his existence baffles me, because Red and Blue are still in that game. And they don't really do anything. He doesn't even have, like, his own rival theme. That's, like, one problem with Let's Go I have, is that, like... when they didn't give, like, Blue a rival theme and Fire Red and Leaf Green, I understood, because it's like a straight one-to-one remake, except for, like, the Sevi Isles of Red and Blue, and they wanted to keep it authentic. So Blue not having a battle theme, but just having the normal trainer theme makes sense. This is not Blue, and he will never be Blue. This is Trace, and he's probably the most cookie cutter, like, nice rival you can get. He's a lot better than the X and Y guys, and I think he is indeed better than both of these, but he's definitely worse than Hugh in that regard. He just kind of is Blue, but not, and Blue's in the story, and you're like, man, I wish Blue was my rival. But he's not the worst. He gets a lot more flack than he deserves. He's a fine rival. He just had some big shoes to fill. Okay, so at this time, we're going to start talking about the rivals from Pokemon Sword and Shield, so we're going to need to go into spoilers to really explain why I placed them where I did. So at this time, if you don't want to be spoiled, go to this timestamp to see where I placed them in the long run. And if you don't want to see where I placed them in the long run, well, thank you for watching. Alright, so Hop. Hop is like a pretty controversial character right now because half the people love him and half the people hate him. I'm on the side of loving him. I think he's a good character. Now, when it comes to his arc, he has a very believable story. He's always living in his like brother's shadow, and he wants to be the champion, but you know as a player that he's not going to be the champion because you're going to be the champion. And it just kind of sucks because it's the first time in Pokemon where you really have to just acknowledge that you were crushing this kid's like one lifelong dream. Now, by the end of the story, he does change his like goal. Instead, he wants to be a Pokemon professor, but like even then, it still feels bittersweet because like, you know, if you weren't there, this kid would like 100% accomplish his dreams. Like he gets the legendary at the end. Like he's a chosen one, but you're also a chosen one. You're a better chosen one than him. That being said, I do like Hop. I think he's probably one of the best rivals we've gotten. I put him above Hao. A lot of people say he's just Galarian Hao, but I think he's a completely different character, and especially near the end. Maybe near the beginning they're very similar, they're very happy-go-lucky, but in terms of friendly rivals, he's probably the best one we've ever gotten. Now, Bede, or Bede, I think it's Bede, because in his song it goes like, Bede. So, I like this kid. He's such a piece of shit, and I really, really like him. Because, like, you want to see him go full villain at the point where he, like, loses his endorsement to the gym membership, but he doesn't. So that's, like, the only, I guess, like, negative I'd say against him. I think he is probably one of the best rivals we've gotten in a while. Unfortunately, again, like, his arc is kind of cut short for a while. Like, just when it feels like it's getting to, like, a boiling point where he's just gonna go, like, full, like, asshole villain, he just kind of gets swept up by Opal and becomes like Fairy Gym Leader, which is a really funny twist, and I really like where he ended up. It's not what I personally would have done, but again, he has a rockin' battle theme. He is a fun rival. You just want to punch him in the face. If Sword and Shield was a bit harder, I'd say that all the smack talk would be kind of valid, but you kind of just OHKO every one of his team because they're all just psychic types. But that being said, again, I'm gonna put him above Hao because he's probably one of my favorites, at least at the moment. That could change. Down the line, it could be like, ew, this guy sucks, but I like him right now. I do. And now, last but not least, we have Marnie. Now, Marnie, kind of wasted potential, if you ask me. I feel like she gets Gladion Syndrome, where she has this really cool battle theme and a really cool, like, backstory, but she's just kind of underutilized in the story. And Pokemon Sword and Shield's already kind of light on stories, and despite her being, like, technically, like, part of the evil team, Team Yell, which Team Yell has its own bunch of problems. I think they were super underutilized too, but it never really goes anywhere. And, like, again, she just kind of has, like, a more half-baked version of Hop's plot, because her brother is a gym leader, but Hop's plot is that his brother is the champion. So, you know, I just kind of feel like maybe when the third version or sequel comes around, they'll use her a bit better, because she's a really cool character design, and just, like, she's a cool character. They don't use her enough. So I'm going to put her below Silver in that regard. But that's all of them. So I guess by process of elimination, that would make N the best rival in Pokemon. Now, this could change. Again, I'm just doing this off the top of my head. None of this is really planned. It's just, I think this character's cooler than this character at the moment. I think this character's better. But at the current moment, I'd say that N's probably the best rival we've gotten, because he kind of is the accompaniment of like all three of those type of rivals. Because he's an antagonist, so I guess he kind of qualifies for the jerk thing. He's kind of edgy. He's kind of, I mean, look at him. He's a little edgy fuck. And he is, but he's like, he's not a bad guy. Like, especially near the end when he gets quote unquote redeemed. I mean, like, he gets betrayed by Getsus, and he's like, oh, I'm a good guy now. But he was always kind of a good guy. Okay, and with that being said, what's your rival tier list? Put it down in the comments below, and make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. That felt dirty. Just do whatever you want. I don't care.